I asked the question, what do crows have to do with it? And what I meant was, what do crows have to do with fall? I think traditionally crows have been associated with fall, and particularly with Halloween and the macabre and murderous things, mysteries. But they really are one of the most intelligent animals. They've been associated with fall and fall things, and that's why I wanted to include them in this gratitude journal that has other fall emblems in it, like woolly worms and butterflies. What else? Falling leaves and dragonflies. Hi, this is Linda from Linda's Paperworks. I hope you're working on your gratitude journal or your little fall journal, whatever you want to call it, and having fun with it. And the other day, I actually filmed this. I may use parts of it, I'm not sure, but I stamped these crows on the center page here. I wasn't really that well pleased. This one has the white spot there, and they have some shadows of the edge of the cardboard on them. So I thought I would redo this page and then pick the the one of the two that's the better one. Let me tell you first how I got started on making my crows. I didn't have a crow stamp, and my friend looked for a crow stamp for me to get for me and send to me, and she didn't have any luck either. So I started out with this. Let me put this over here. This is a bird stencil I got at Dollar Tree. It has all kinds of birds on it. This one, to me, looked a little bit like a crow, but his head wasn't right, and his beak was not long enough. But I started with that. This was some of my early stuff. I enlarged his chest and made his tail longer and his beak longer and various things. And then I thought about Barbara 49 Dragonflies had made stamps. I made some too. She made some like these with trees on them from this foam. Where does the foam go? The foam is gone. It's this thin foam. It's just craft foam for kids mainly, to make various shapes or whatever with it. But it's perfect to make a little stamp with. You can draw your design on there and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife or with scissors. And so I thought, well, I could make a crow stamp. And I got started making crow stamps, and about 6 crow stamps, no, about 10 crow stamps later, I may have some I can use. At first, I was gluing them onto this cardboard so I'd have a backing to press against. And then I realized that I wasn't getting them positioned exactly like I liked it. I decided that I could just use a little bit of double stick tape and attach them to the back of my acrylic stamping block. So that's what I did. I'm not happy with the way his tail is, but I plan to just do like I did on this one and just run it off the edge of the page. Or I have stamped other tails on the birds. Let me just show you some of my progress here. Crazy progress. This is one I stamped on the foam to cut it out. If I wanted a bird that was going the opposite way from the stamp I had, I stamped it on the foam, and then I cut it out, and then I used this side of it to be the stamp to make him face the other way, if that makes any sense at all. But anyway, this was an early bird, and he looks more like a pigeon than a crow. This is one that I was fairly happy with. And I may use him. I'll put him up there. I made impressions of stamps, impressions on this page, and I actually kind of like this. I even thought about using this in my book because it's just kind of a conglomerate of crows, and they tend to congregate. So that was a thought. I may still do that. I don't know. I drew the crows. I drew several crows. Saw pictures, looked them up. I colored these in with my alcohol ink markers. And this is where I was when I decided to put them on the foam. And I was able to put them behind the foam and see enough of it to trace the image onto the foam so I could cut them out. So that's kind of how I got to the place that I have stamps for crows. And in the meantime, all the research I was doing, I found out a lot of interesting things about crows that I didn't know. They're not ravens, but they're in the same genus as ravens. It's called corvus. And ravens are actually larger than crows. And I have my bird book here. I even thought about cutting this bird out, but he's obviously way too big for my little book. So the book is saved in that instance. So no cringing today. This is the American crow. This one is in the Northwest, and he's called a fish crow. He's smaller than the American crow, and the American crow is smaller than the raven. The American crow is about 17 to 21 inches beak to tail, and the raven can be 22 to 27 inches beak to tail. I guess the main difference to me is that ravens have a lot better PR than crows do. A group of crows is called a murder of crows, and a group of ravens is just called an unkindness of ravens, which I think that's very funny. Also, ravens have their own PR man in Edgar Allan Poe. Even though he's dead by now, he did a lot for their reputation. Ravens are not in this area. They're mainly in the northeastern part of the United States, and then it says also in Eurasia, Africa, and Africa. And there's some other differences between them, but they're cousins, say. So anyway, let's get on with the craft project here. I'm going to set this aside, if I can find a place. Put it over there. And this is the next page that I may put crows on. Yeah, I think that side is fine. And I'm going to get my mat to put under it to stamp it to get a better impression. I still want basically the same arrangement of the crows with the one looking back in the middle. I need a piece of paper under this as well because I don't want to get ink on my mat. Okay. Now the train whistle. Maybe the train whistle is far enough away that it's not too obnoxious. All right, I'm just going to ink this up and see if I can get a better impression this time than I did last time. It was a bit light. And this ink this is archival ink in a color called watering can, which is just a dark gray. But it's pretty intense, and it tends to bleed through the paper like this did. I don't know if you can see that or not. There and there. But this one in the middle, I think I used the black on that, and it's kind of too light, but it didn't bleed through the paper. I am going to try to put this crow in the middle again. I didn't do another one to use on the acrylic block for him, so I'm just going to try real hard to get him positioned like I want him to be. Maybe like that. And maybe I won't get the shadow around him this time. I don't know. That's not too bad. It's got a little spotting there on his neck. But I might be able to touch that up somehow. I may try to do that later. Then I want to put this one with his tail going off the edge of the page, I do believe. One of the other things I found out about crows is that they can be aggressive to larger birds and will often chase them away, including hawks, owls, and herons. I thought that was particularly interesting that they just don't put up with anything from big birds. They just don't like that. So they may have a bad reputation, but I like them. I'm trying to improve their reputation in the world. Okay. position, maybe like that. I just used that baby wipe to wipe off that excess ink on my stamping block so I wouldn't get the smudge. And then I didn't get his tail very well either. I wonder if I could fix that. Let's see. I may mess up the whole thing and be sorry about it. But at least with this, I can see where I'm putting it down. Oh, I see what happened. I went off the edge of the mat. Okay. That's a little fuzzy, but that's okay. And I'm sure it's coming through. Oh, yes, it's coming through. I may have to be creative and figure out another way to hide that, short of stamping the back of the page. Okay, that's that one. And then this crow is going on the other side. I hope that has enough ink on it. And I want him up here on this. Put him there. Sorry about the shaking. But that came out the best of any of the three, so. There we go. Crows on the nest. Now, let's see which one we think is better. This is crow set number 1 and crow set number 2. I like that better if I can touch up that black a little bit. He's much better than he is, although I started to say I used the same stamp, but I didn't. I like this stamp. This is his wing that comes back and is poofing up there, is what that is. His feet the feet are hard to do because it's hard to cut that foam in tiny pieces like that. So I just kind of thought, okay, feet, they have feet. I only had that one tiny smudge there, so that's better. So I'm thinking this one is a better job than that one is. The only thing, this paper is darker. I kind of like the lighter color paper, but this is what I have, unless I want to do it the third time. I wouldn't put it past me, but, you know, I need to move on, I think, from the crows. But I've had fun with the crows. I just really think it's interesting how the ravens have a better reputation. They're bigger and, I mean, they have some differences. They're even mentioned in the Bible. The ravens were commanded by God to feed Elijah when he was exiled or hiding from Jezebel, I think it was. And the story is in 1 Kings 17. And the ravens were commanded by God to feed him. Ravens are also mentioned in Luke 12:24. Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which have neither storehouse nor barn, and God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? I just love that verse. Anyway, that's the raven story. The other, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but one other difference between ravens, or distinguishing characteristics between ravens and crows, is they're bigger. Their tails are shaped differently. The ravens have kind of a wedge-shaped tail, a rounded shape. I'll show you here. This is the raven tail shape, and then the American crow is just kind of snipped off there. And the fish crow is really snipped off. They have different voices, and they can be raucous, especially crows can be. And if the crows congregate in these huge flocks or murders, and it may be that people want to murder them because they're so noisy and messy. It says the crows are partially migratory in the north. They want to get out of the cold, I guess. Let's see, ravens, I don't know that they're migratory. It doesn't say anything about that on them. Anyway, That's probably more than you ever wanted to know about crows. But I just thought it was interesting. Let's see. They're very smart. They're inquisitive and sometimes mischievous. This is about crows. And maybe I think that's both. Ravens and crows are smart and inquisitive and mischievous. Oh, I thought this was interesting. The average wingspan is 36 inches for a crow, and for I don't think that says this in here. I don't have it written out how big the raven's wingspan is. Ravens tend to be in smaller groups, families and things, but crows will congregate in these huge colonies that are, I think it said up to thousands of birds in a group. It was kind of interesting. They said they commute from their family group, which can be 15 crows or something, over to this big crowd of birds that flock together, especially in the wintertime. And I guess they're trying to keep warm, which I thought that was interesting too. I hope that you enjoyed my ramblings on the crows. But anyway, I have my crow page now, and I think I'm going to try and fix that right there. And I don't know exactly how I want to do that. I think I'll just cut a shape. That shape might do it. And just put it on the block, and then just I think I'll make it small so that I can get in there where I want to make the change. Just so it's not so bright white right there. And I better cut that off some more too. Just a tiny bit. Oh, it's my little bitty acrylic block. I think there's been more traffic on this street this afternoon than all day yesterday. Of course, it was raining on yesterday, so the rain has stopped. I guess people are getting out to see what's what, do things, and enjoy the day. If I mess this up, I'm going to be mad at myself for doing this, but we'll see. I could just leave it. But I'm not. I'm just going to touch that down right there just a little bit. Well, that kind of made it. Yeah. I'm just going to try to smooth that out just a little bit right there. That's not working. Maybe that's worse than the first. I wonder if I had a Q-tip. I'm going to grab a Q-tip and see if I can fix that. Okay, I have a Q-tip, and I'm just going to try to not roll away. For some reason, my chair wants to roll away. Okay. I'm just going to get some ink on this Q-tip, and then I'm just going to try to even this out a little bit where it's right in there where it kind of has a straight line that I don't like. And it's squeaking. Sorry about that. I think I got better results by putting the foam, using the double-sided tape and putting the foam on the blocks than I did with these, because I had the problem with the edge marking the paper and not being able to see exactly where I put the stamp. So it wasn't always in the position I wanted it to be in. Like on this one, I mean, that might be a position a crow would be in, But for some reason, I didn't like it as much. I kind of wanted them to be more sitting up and conversing. Oh, having a crow time. A good old crow time. And I'm probably shaking the table again. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Right there. She said. Making one more adjustment. I'll probably keep my crow stamps for another time, too. I don't know what I'm going to do about this outside of this unless I put a pocket or something at the bottom. I might do that. Put pockets at the bottom to cover up the crows there. I don't think I want crows on both sides of the paper. And that one's really dark. So I'll be thinking about what I'm going to do with that next. So anyway, thank you so much for coming by and crafting with me today. And I hope that you're having fun with your journal and getting inspired, not just from me, but from other crafters as well, or just from looking at nature and thinking about things, picking up leaves and thinking how you could include them in your book, draw a picture, make a stencil, make a stamp, something like that. Just anything that sparks your imagination and makes you think of fall and all the ways that we're blessed. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time. Bye. Say. So, no, what? No, nothing. Okay. Now the train whistles. Oh, this is a noisy day in Texas. I like to hear train whistles. I like to hear them at night, and I like to hear them during the day, but I don't like to hear them when I'm trying to film a video. I don't like them when I'm trying to film a video. Oh, come on. This has been a nightmare.